Another day today. Um, Starting off on a good note, I guess. It turns out I just needed to press the right button on the microphone, and everything does appear to be working. So it looks like we're off to a good start that way, and a little bit of sleep goes a long way. Um, this week has been pretty interesting for me. Um, kind of overloaded with new stimuli, I guess, from putting myself back in this environment. Uh, and not that it's really been a bad thing, but I have kind of come face to face with the fact that I have a predisposition to fear and negative thinking that is much more aggressive and deep rooted than I was under the impression of. That almost every scenario that comes up is sort of framed in a negative way, and I don't know if that is sort of just from the change in schedule, then lack of sleep and things like that, but it definitely is just kind of in my face this week as far as like the first place my head goes is towards this um, pattern of thought where um, bad things are happening, and obviously there's a lot of reasons why that would be, and all kinds of justification, um, and it may be that it is actually serving me, and the learning is not to get rid of it. The learning is more to take it with a grain of salt and be prepared and then let it go. And I think that that is sort of a huge factor for me, um, in that I have a lot to learn, and there's a lot of growth that still needs to happen for me. Um, yeah, it's been a wild ride the last 3 or 4 months for me, um, and on one hand, I'm grateful for all the changes and all of the new perspective. Um, and on the other, I just am aware of like how deeply rooted and like pathological a lot of my thought processes are, and what what that actually looks like to make meaningful change for that stuff. Um, so it's definitely no walk in the park to make these kinds of changes. But that being said, I mean, um, the reason this has come up is just because overall, when I've faced these things, um, they have predominantly worked out, and so uh, all of these negative thoughts have been for naught, really. And if I had carried them with me, they would have drastically affected my day. And in some regards, they did drastically affect my day, even when I was able to move past them. um, it just did have a significant effect on that. Yeah. Um, yeah. I I've definitely been feeling overwhelmed, but I'm pretty sure I'm in a good place as far as these things are coming up, and I'm still moving on, and things are still okay, and I'm still getting into the next day. And I'm definitely trying to give credit where credit is due as far as sleep and um, how much that's played an impact. But it is hard to imagine that sleep is the only thing kind of going on here, that it would be that drastic of a change, but it is possible, and it is kind of one of the most significant changes, I would say, um, on the physical side that I've made to my life. Uh, and I definitely do feel much different. I don't feel as activated and hyper um, and worked up um, just throughout the day in general when things happen. Um, yeah, life is surprisingly good, even in tough times, and even in um, trying times, and even facing just upset and loneliness and sadness and all of these things. There's like um, just an amazing part to it. And it's funny that I used to sort of escape and get caught up in like the wonders of the universe to feel good. Or like you look into black holes and fractals and just like the makeup of space time and quantum mechanics and uh, just like all these rabbit holes that you can go down that just make the universe connected and amazing and wonderful, and it's funny that I've been able to get that kind of awe and happiness and wonder from just like the absolutely mundane things of sitting and having conversation, or reflecting, or having coffee in the morning. Um, and uh, it's an interesting way to experience life. And I don't know that I have lost my awe for the rest of the world. I more so just look at it in this regard of um, how how great these simple things are, still knowing that there's these just massive, magical, wonderful things like that exist outside of that as well. And so maybe that is part of staying grateful and having gratitude and all of these things. Um, yeah, I really wish that I could pinpoint the change, um, or that I could offer some kind of advice that is not the same things that everybody else say or I could offer something that sort of helps it click. But I don't know that I have anything to offer. I don't even really know how I got here, other than like, I think time and distance from all of these hurts that you carry through your life, or that I've drug with me. I have like enough distance to see my part and to see the thing that I played in them. Um, but also just to see that, like, for the most part, they they don't really affect today, and they're not as horrible as they once were. And I'm sure that there's is things that people struggle with, that you can never let go, that you can never get enough time and distance away from, because there's awful things out there and awful people, and bad things happen. But I think some really bad things have happened, and they're not happening now, and that is enough of a solution to let it go. Yeah, these are things that I never thought would ever come out of my mouth, and that I had pain that I never thought I would ever put down. Um, and I absolutely even was latched on to the idea of like not being cynical, and trying to be positive about the day, and all these things made you a sucker, and that like you're just setting yourself up to be a fool, and even in love and connection, like all of these things are the same thing. Like you're just opening yourself up to be taken advantage of, and like in general, um, I think for me now, um, the only way through is that is is to open myself up, and be put myself in that position of vulnerability to find out that it's not like that. And the more times and the more things I face that like, well, this could happen, I guess we'll see, without acting and without reacting, and just letting things unfold, the more I've seen that it's not always bad. Um, and maybe there is some value in getting up every morning and telling myself on camera that life is not as bad as I think it is, and that everything's going to work out. I don't know. It it does seem to be working. This is not something I ever had any thought would be helpful, beneficial, of value. I never even thought that I could look myself in the face, which, like, I obviously, if you watch my eyes, I do look away quite often. Um, and I haven't gotten through watching many of these or rewatching many of these, but it's a work in progress. Yeah, so even in the cold dead of winter, working and waiting, life is not this miserable, awful place to be. And there's reasons to smile and get out of bed every morning. And even reflecting on yesterday and how tired and exhausted I was, and how potentially miserable I made my own life even um, by pushing to do these things. Um, well, I'm still glad that I showed up yesterday. I'm still glad that I was tired, and I can laugh at it now. I can laugh at the fact that I was just like not functional, whining and pouting, and um, and and I didn't really show up to the video because of that, but just the act of getting it done means that I'm gonna get up and get it done today, um, and I'm doing it today, so I'm gonna keep doing it tomorrow. And while I have the microphone plugged in and the buttons work, I still have no idea how to test to make sure this is happening the way that it's supposed to. But we're just going to assume that today I have figured it all out and that I know exactly what I'm doing. um, I I don't feel like I'm harboring a lot of pain or resentment at the moment, but knowing the things that I have faced in the last few weeks and knowing the things that I've been able to put down in the last few months and stop carrying or over the course of my life, I do wonder what else I can put down today to make my life better tomorrow. And I wonder how many people are out there that have stuff that they can just put down. And just stop carrying it. Like that's like I've been holding on to this thing for so long that it feels like it's a part of me, but I literally just have to let go of it, and it's not there anymore. Not even any internal processing, or I just have to just like be like I am not I'm not living with this anymore. Um yeah, had a conversation yesterday just about some fundamentals of my life that I have like let go and stopped carrying and stopped holding on to, but that even in that still have ripples, still in an activated state. I still sort of revert to these thought processes, but just not carrying it every day is freeing and valuable, right? For me. And it was like major trauma that I've carried. And it's just funny how many ways there is to get to the same solution. But anyways, I am feeling like I've been ranting too far or too long, and my face looks very old today. Happy Saturday to everyone, and I obviously, since I know the mic is working and I've figured everything out, that the audio is going to be fantastic on this. Enjoy the weekend, everyone. Oh.